last week I was going through my app store looking at all the updates, and I was reminded that I had this little app called Auxy on it, just like a beat programming app, and I'd played with it for like a couple minutes, but I'd never really used it. One of my students though, who kind of knew my spiel, was like, you would love this thing, but I didn't really play with it until I guess about 2 weeks ago or something, and immediately it clicked, and like at a sort of bare bones level of not even really understanding how it worked, I was like, oh my god, I love this thing. And then, because I'm anti-learning how to do anything except for by doing it, I'd accidentally click somewhere and then discover how the sequencing part of it worked, or how to individually modify. Sorry, I'm looking for a spot to go down. Like, should we go down there? Seems mildly dangerous. Let's not do it. So figuring out like how to modify individual drums, or how to apply like an automation filter across 8 bars with a 2-bar loop in it, or whatever it is, whatever nerdy stuff. And what was funny is, like, it was accidental. It was like I updated it on a Saturday maybe, and then just played around with it throughout the day on Sunday, like, while I was drinking my coffee, or while I was waiting for the dog to go to the bathroom, or whatever it was. Like, I was just playing with it throughout the day, and just kind of got really addicted to it really, really fast. And today I was decided not to drive to work because of the 6 inches of snow I'm currently walking through. So I took the light rail, and he pulled it out, and then like revised and edited one of the songs I've been working on. And I think there's a couple things that seem important about this endeavor. The first one is this, maybe it's all important, but this idea of like tools, time, mindset. Getting those 3 things in alignment will make you massively productive. No one ever taught me this. It was a thing that like I sort of noticed in retrospect as I adjusted ways of working, my attitude, what tools I was willing to accept, that getting hot, that I could end up being super productive as like a matter of course from doing that, which is super cool. So you go from having this thing sitting on your phone, not making any music. I'm trying to remember the last time I made music. It was a long time ago. To suddenly you've got 4 kind of in process songs, a half a dozen loops of like stuff that will become the basis for something else, and it's all just sitting there kind of waiting to go. And I guess what I find fascinating about it is that I have played around with music stuff before. I've taken sound classes, I've taken MIDI classes, I've used Ableton Live, like everything that I sort of could around the idea of like programming and production, but I never really felt productive. I always just was kind of banging my head against the wall, and then all of a sudden this little app kind of allows me to break through that wall, and suddenly go like, oh crap, like, here's the thing, and this is how I'm going to do it, and because of the way I'm going to do it, it's going to be productive. So it's like finding that tool, and the tool for me in that context, for it to work, to be productive, requires basically no time. Like, I'm busy, you're busy, I don't have an hour to plunk down, I don't have days to plunk down to learn how to do something. I need to find a tool that clicks relatively quickly. It has a low point of entry, or a low kind of barrier for friction. It helps if it's on my phone. And because I practically live on my phone in between doing my actual 9 to 5 billable sort of work. So there's like the tool. It clicks immediately. It aligns with the time. You know, a different tool could click, but it doesn't align with the time. Like maybe I love, I don't know, like Logic or Pro Tools or Ableton Live or whatever it is, but those require me to be on a laptop, and me being on a laptop means I can't use the bizarre little moments of time. Like I can't steal the 2 minutes while my kid is brushing her teeth to adjust the drum sound, because the friction involves, like, I'd have to go get the laptop, open the laptop, start the software. By the time I got it going, she'd be done already and waiting for me. So like that's a part of it. And then the other part of it is the mindset. I always went into these sorts of things wanting to accomplish something, wanting to write a song, wanting to make a record, wanting to start a band, wanting to arrive at a specific kind of sound. And that always kind of puts it out of line with the way that I tend to work, which is don't bother learning anything and just play. So if you do that, you can't really have that attitude and then also say, oh, let me open up this new thing and let me write a record. Like, that's not how it works. Like, you got to kind of accept that if you're going to do that, you have no idea what that record's going to sound like. So you can't sit down, having not really made music, open up a piece of software and go, okay, cool, let me make a record that sounds like Tyler, the Creator. Just because you have the same tool, and maybe you don't even have the same tool, but just because you have the same tool, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it. And in order to do it would require this intense period of copying and learning and constantly comparing, which for a lot of people is fine. For me, that's 100% not fine. It literally sounds like torture. If you told me like what I needed to do was open up my app, listen to a distance song, and then sit there and go like, okay, I want that bass sound. All right, now I have to YouTube that. Now I have to do this. Now I have to buy this plugin. That just sounds like torture. Like, I just want to play with the thing and be productive. So letting go of goals and attachment to outcome and all of that stuff, to me, it's super critical in order to be productive. And I, operate in kind of a weird mindset, which says, if I follow the process, which is play with no attachment to outcome and express myself as fully as possible, then automatically the results are good. And that is indeed how I approach things. Well, productivity is just around the corner. I just don't worry about quality. Making music, I'm not worried about whether it's good or not. I simply worry about having fun and making it sound as pleasant or right to me as possible. So it might be banging a key a bunch of different ways until I find the one that like kind of goes, that's right. That's different though than going right into it and saying, okay, it has to sound like this. This has to be the melodic part. I don't really function that way. I don't really work that way. And I assume that everything I'm doing is actually just research for what I'll do tomorrow, next week, and next year. It's interesting because I used to think I was really, really lazy, but I wasn't. I just procrastinated because I didn't really have like the tools and the time and the mindset all kind of plugged into each other. And now it's like I'm super motivated, but at the same time, I always work in these little tiny chunks of time. And I kind of use what's available to me. So 10 minutes. that's today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, question, follow. Find me on Instagram. It's MVA Joshua. If you want to hear some of the music, that's the place to go too. All right, cool. Thanks.